I'm testing 4 different types of hash browns to see which one is best, and I'll give you 5 tips for how to make perfect, crispy, golden hash browns on the griddle every time. I like to get my griddle right around 400 degrees. If you're below there, like 350, then I don't think they get the crispiness you want. And if you're too high, then they might burn on the outside and not be done on the inside. Kind of like your aunt's meatloaf, which no one wants that. I always use my infrared thermometer and cook by temperature, not by low, medium, high on the knobs. That's because different griddles cook at different temperatures. So grab yourself an infrared thermometer. The hash browns also are the first thing to go down when I'm cooking breakfast. That is my second tip. I like to follow this cooking order chart, which is in my free Griddle ebook I'll put below. I go potatoes first, then bacon, pancakes, eggs, and toast are last. Okay, hash browns usually take around 10 to 15 minutes, which is why they go down first. The 4 types of hash browns we have here are in a box, frozen, fresh from the cooler section, which I swear they keep moving this around on me in the grocery store. Sometimes they're by the pre-made mashed potatoes, sometimes they're by the bacon. Anyways, in a scratch from just, a raw potato. The box ones are dehydrated just like my body after watching college football all day on Saturday. So you need to rehydrate them with some boiling water and let them sit out for about 12 minutes to just kind of suck in that water. Frozen ones I like to pull out from the freezer at least a half hour before my meal and let them defrost a bit. You do not have to do this, but they will cook faster and I feel like it gets you better results. The fresh ones, you don't have to do anything, but just take them out of the bag and throw them on the griddle. The scratch ones from the real potato, oh man, these are a lot of work in my opinion. So first you got to peel the potato. Then you got to use your cheese grater and you got to grate them straight into water or else they'll turn gray on you. Then you rinse them until the starch is all the way gone, until the water runs clear. Then you wring them out real good with your hand, pat them dry with a paper towel, and they're good to go. When you put each one of these on the griddle, you need to use a lot of fat. Now, I'm not talking about my love handles, I mean cooking fat. I don't care if it's oil or butter or a combination of both. Another option is ghee, which is clarified butter. But no matter which one you use, just make sure you got to use a lot. That's how you're frying them kind of and getting them crispy golden brown. I prefer to use both oil and butter, so I got half a tablespoon of butter and 2 tablespoons of oil for each 1 cup serving of the different hash browns. I mix the first tablespoon of oil and the butter together, coating all the hash browns, tossing them together on the griddle. I'm also going to add some seasoned salt. You can add pepper if you'd like, but when I worked at Bob Evans, a diner in the Midwest, we only did seasoned salt, so that's just kind of how I do them. Then, after everything is mixed and I got them all together in like a little round pile, I squirt a little more oil. That's my other tablespoon of oil. So tip number 3 was to use a lot of fat and mix the fat in to coat all the potatoes. Then that brings us to tip number 4, which that's German for 4 if you're not familiar. And that's to not touch them. Do not touch them. This is the hardest part for people, especially new people to the griddle. It's like Pacino said, look, but don't touch. I almost did a Pacino impersonation there, but it would have been terrible. So just be happy I didn't. Once they're coated and the butter and oil is on them, just spread them out into a little pile and just leave them alone for about 12 minutes. Our final tip is, how do you know when they're done? Well, the edges will be golden, brown, and crispy. They'll start to look how you want. And you should be able to kind of easily slide your spatula under them, and they'll move as one. They should move as one hash brown unit, If it's still breaking apart or something, you might want to wait a little bit longer. Well, now that we got all 4 of them done, they look great. Let's go inside for the taste test and see which one was best. I apologize about flashing my chest the whole time inside. I didn't realize the mic I was wearing was pulling my shirt down, but I can't go back and remake these again. So this is what it is. I promise it's not that sort of YouTube channel. Okay, here we are. So we have our scratch. This is just from the fresh potato. Fresh, these are bad names. This is the ones that were fresh in the fridge. Dehydrated and frozen. They all turned out fine. Again, what you want to follow is around 400 degrees, lots of fat, whether it's butter or oil, and mix it in there and don't touch them.
15 minutes. Just don't touch them, okay? So they all turn out fine. You can kind of see their different levels here. I would say the dehydrated got the darkest and they're the smallest. I don't think that's a bad thing. The fresh ones are more golden brown. The scratch ones got a little bit browner around the outside, and then the frozen ones look like how they always look. Golden, not as golden as the fresh ones, okay? So we'll start with the scratch ones. Good, crispy on the top, potatoey in the middle. These are the fresh ones. A little more crispy. I like the potato texture, not as potatoey in the middle. Dehydrated. Very crispy. Very, very crispy. Nice potato in the middle. Frozen. Look, there's a lot of hash browns. I didn't want to do this. I'm doing this for you guys, you know. Man of the people. You just want to spend my whole day eating hash browns and just putting eggs and hot sauce on them? No. Frozen one's very good. My opinion, which to be fair, I've made all these a lot, so I kind of had a predetermined opinion, but I wanted to confirm it, make them together. I don't like the scratch ones as much. I can never get them as good as the other ones. Even if I get them close, I never get them to be worth the effort. Like just ever. It's never worth the effort to me. So that's me. Maybe I'm doing it wrong. You have a better formula, but I don't think this is anywhere close to worth the time and effort when these three all just come pretty much ready to go. Your next one is the fresh and the dehydrated and the frozen. I would say fresh ones are probably the best. They just got really golden brown, soft on the inside. I think dehydrated are the crispiest ones. I think frozen are still good, somewhere in between the two. But as far as convenience goes, your frozen's the most convenient because it's just ready to go. You pull it out early, it's ready to go. Dehydrated doesn't take up space, and it's in and you can keep it forever, I mean, in your cabinet, but you do got to boil the water, which isn't hard, but whatever. That's still more of a step than these two. And the fresh ones are really good too. So I think it's a preference thing. I think the crispiest ones are dehydrated. If you really, really want them crispy, get the dehydrated ones. If you want the best possible ones and you're going to use a whole bag and you know you're going to use it that week, get the fresh ones. But you know, you don't want to save any. You're not going to save those, right? So then if you just want to keep the frozen ones, which is what I usually do, I think they give you a good enough product. So I don't think any of these are enough of an improvement to beat the convenience of the frozen ones. How about that? Even though that's just a little bit of water, and even though that's just a little space in your fridge, it's like these have been in my fridge for like 2 months from a previous video, and they're just there, and they're fine. I pull them out, and if I think I want them that day, boom, I want them. These ones, it's like you better be planning on using the fresh ones. You better, like, or else it's a week goes by and you wasted them. And then these ones are fine. They'll be forever too. These are camping 100%. Must have for anybody that camps or RVs with a griddle. 100% non-perishable. Don't need a freezer. Must have. But you do got to boil some water. But they do get crispier. I do think they get really crispy. And then the frozen ones are fine. So that's my overall. I mean, if we're just going just regardless of how you make them, I do think these fresh ones ended up being the best. If you add in all the factors of making it and blah, 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 I think the frozen ones are fine. I think they're the best when you add in storage, making it. Do you have to prep much and anything like that? The scratch ones, like I said, I've done them 4 times for videos. I've never done them not for a video. I've never been like, oh, I'm going to do those again. And then the dehydrated ones are definitely your camping RV #1 choice. I hope this video was helpful. I go over stuff like this in my newsletter, which I send out every Saturday. If you're not subscribed to that, you can do that below. It's all about griddling all the time. Short newsletter, 2-minute read. I'm not wasting your time. Just some tips and tricks to make better food on the griddle.